You are listening to RetroLovers Radio, your go-to broadcast for positive nostalgia.
What a wonderful night. You are listening to Retro Lovers Radio, a space for 80s and 90s music, memories, and for positive nostalgia. What 90s lyrics help you accept change when nothing felt stable? Let's step into the late 1990s. Things are changing fast now. People are switching schools, cities, jobs. Relationships don't always last as long as expected. You start to realize that life isn't linear. You still listen to CDs, but you're beginning to skip tracks. You start choosing what matches your mood instead of playing the whole album. And the music of the 90s reflects that moment perfectly. This was the decade when songs stopped pretending change was easy and started admitting it was confusing. Tonight we're talking about 90s songs that didn't resist change. They tried to understand it. Let's begin with Crazy by Seal from 1991. This song arrived at the very start of the decade, when the optimism of the past was fading, but nothing new had fully formed yet. One lyric still feels surprisingly relevant. We are never gonna survive unless we get a little crazy. It wasn't encouraging recklessness. It was encouraging flexibility. The song suggested that adapting emotionally and mentally was not weakness, was survival. For many listeners, that line became permission to change direction without guilt. Now consider Thank You by Alanis Morissette from 1998. By the late 90s, people were openly reflecting on their past. Relationships, mistakes, lessons learned. This song didn't focus on regret. It focused on integration. One line quietly carried its message. Thank you, disillusionment. Instead of fighting disappointment, it accepted it as part of growth. That was a very 90s idea. Healing doesn't come from denial, but from understanding what shaped you. And now, let's see this other example with High and Dry by Radiohead from 1995. This song didn't offer comfort, it offered recognition. One lyric feels particularly human. Don't lead me high, don't lead me dry. It expressed fear without drama, need without performance. In the 90s, this kind of emotional exposure felt new, especially in mainstream alternative music. It acknowledged that sometimes all you want is not to be abandoned in the middle of change. What these songs had in common was humility. They didn't tell you where life was going. They simply stayed with you while it moved. And that's why they still resonate today. They remind us that change doesn't need to be mastered. It needs to be felt. And if you enjoy this kind of deep listening and reflection, join us live every week with the 90s Lover Show on Fridays and with the 80s Lover Show on Saturdays. Both live at 7 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube and Kick channels. I first started the YouTube livestream for around 10 minutes, just to allow people some time to gather and as a waiting room. And then we continue the full show livestream on Kick, where we can play full music video clips with no restrictions. And I share the link to Kick for you all to move there. On Kick is where things really come alive with the 4 show segments, your song requests, live voting, your voice messages on air, and even phone calls to share memories, stories, and reflections connected to the music. You can participate or simply listen. And if you feel like participating, you can do it on the chat on Kick Livestream or by leaving comments on the main post of our public Facebook group, which allows more space to write. Please join our public group on Facebook by searching for RetroLovers Radio, 80s and 90s Nostalgia. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube, turn on the notification bell, and keep an eye on all the 6 extra monthly special shows as well. So tonight was about transition, songs that didn't promise certainty, but offered companionship during change, lyrics that reframed confusion as part of becoming, music that didn't demand answers, only honesty. That's one of the greatest gifts of 90s music. It didn't rush you forward. It walked with you while things shifted. And now let me know, is there a 90s song you associate with a moment of change in your life? A track that helped you accept something new or let something go? Share it in the comments on YouTube. Those stories matter. And before I go, remember to take care of your loved ones and remember what is truly important in your life. All the rest is secondary. Alright everyone, thank you so much for being here, and I see you all in the next one. I'm Mick, and this was RetroLovers Radio.